are free, right? So for me, it started out at a young age where I used to look at the stars and I used to think, I know the world is so much bigger than it actually is, and I know the universe is even bigger. It was a dream of wanting to be out there and wanting to look back down on the earth. I guess I just am a rocket scientist.
The SAB Foundation set up with a very specific mandate of benefiting entrepreneurs in South Africa. By setting up a foundation, you ensure that the benefit really does flow to those economically excluded. Growing the economy, creating employment, and education. Those are the most important things South Africa needs to do. SAB Foundation is like a microcosm of addressing those issues. It's an independent trust with priority on women, youth, people in rural areas, and people with disabilities.
For us as the foundation, we're really looking for solutions that solve social problems, but are underpinned by a business model which can prove sustainability.
We support young South Africans who have actually, many of them, given up lucrative career opportunities to work on something that they're really passionate about, trying to solve a social problem in South Africa.
Ah, nice. So when you're charging it, you just plug it in like that. And my name is Ntato Moachi, born and raised in Soweto, and now I run a startup called Crisp Design.
Ntato, really, his energy says it all. He's a highly qualified engineer. He's done work with some of the biggest producers in the country. Ntato was the overall winner of the Social Innovation Awards. They were awarded about 1.2 million to work on their prototyping.
We call it the digital divide. It keeps growing bigger and bigger between the developed world and the developing world. We are a for-profit company that wants to create social impact. And our first product that we created was the low-cost educational robotics toy, which is a set of tools that we implement into schools in order to teach kids about robotics and coding for the fourth industrial revolution. So inside your kits, you'll see that you've got the blue block, right? Tell me what it says at the bottom. Power. So it says power, right? Yeah. We align with the CAPS curriculum that focuses on the 4 C's: communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. Even if they get an hour with a robot, it is so much more than them not knowing anything at all. So what is a robot?
It's a thing that you can do anything.
Can do anything. And who builds a robot?
Me.
This kind of project is what we look for when we look at accessibility around education, which addresses issues around youth empowerment, and how do we make certain technologies that a school in the rural areas in a township, that those kids also have the opportunities to work with these technologies and be prepared for the future as much as a kid in private school would.
I wanted to become a medical doctor. I went to a school in a rural area because that's where I grew up. But then when I got to university, I realized, oh, I'm not actually very much prepared. I actually didn't know a lot of things. When you get to university, your very first session, they allocate you a bench space with all these items inside. And you look at the list and you're like, what are these things? I lost a lot of confidence and I thought maybe, I'm not supposed to be a medical doctor. I recognized a lot of other students that were going through a similar problem. I said to myself, man, I'm the person to do something about this. We make a portable science kit for young people to do science experiments to help them become scientists. We provide the physical science kit and teacher training. The science kit unleashes their confidence and they can approach their learning from that point where they know what they're doing.
But Abile recognizes that so many low-income schools don't have access to science labs, and obviously science is critical for the future.
The SAB Foundation money came right at the time to help us buy chemicals and all these other things. That funding gave us access to a mentor. It helped create a relationship with suppliers. We could actually open an account. We've probably grown like 4 times since that first time when I had the interaction with them. I wouldn't be where I am if they didn't get involved in helping us grow.
We have a number of those types of innovations, over 100, that we have supported.
SAB saw the potential in our idea to have commercial success. Solving the problems of capacity, financial support, business development, that's where SAB is really strong. They understand what social entrepreneurship is and what social entrepreneurs need. They don't just give you funding, they also give you business support and mentorship.
Trying to inject an economy into a rural area is quite challenging, particularly because many rural areas are quite far from markets. We've created a special focus on rural opportunities which are high in their job creation potentials.
My name is Njabulo Sithole. Some they know me as Blessing Njabulo Sithole. I run Baker's Creations. I'm the founder, and I like cakes. I always felt inferior because of being based in a rural area. I had fear. I wanted to do something different for my community. We don't have employers in the area except the government programs, which are not sustainable. I wanted to uplift my community. So in fact, our staff is 100% from the local community. I wanted to contribute positively in my community. I met the SAB Foundation. They were looking into supporting small businesses. In fact, they already had an existing program. We've been able to grow from supplying the local schools to supplying the local spaza shops, spa stores, Pick and Pay Express shops, checkout stores, and quite a few other independent supermarkets as well.
By changing that entrepreneur's life, you are changing so many people's lives around them. We measure ourselves against job creation, turnover growth, and the third is social impact. We've seen 101% growth in turnover in our businesses over the last 5 years.
Welcome to the Deaf Empowerment Firm. Our side name is DF. Welcome.
We've also discovered how incredibly poorly people with disabilities are treated in South Africa. We have a special category called the Disability Empowerment Awards, looking for solutions that improve quality of life for people with disabilities. From the minute I met Alex, I could just see that she was a really special individual. We helped her to start a recruitment company that places people with hearing impairments into employment.
I was not born deaf. I've got a voice. I can speak well. So when I lost my hearing, a lot of challenges and changes happened in my life. I was doing very well in my career. I had been sick with TB medication affecting both my auditory nerves. So when I lost my hearing, I came into contact with the deaf. That's when I saw firsthand the challenge that they face. And being an activist of long standing, I just couldn't let things go unchallenged. So that's when I decided to start Deaf Empowerment Firm so we can provide assistance to the deaf community and start changing the status quo. Here we have Lindiwe. Her sign name is Lindiwe. Lindiwe is my right-hand lady. Companies are missing out on a massive workforce. Our main aim is to ensure that they get sustainable work placements. We first have to upskill them so that they can stand a better chance when they compete with their counterparts in the open labor market. We then put them in sustainable employment, or we assist them to start businesses of their own. So that's in a nutshell what Deaf Empowerment Firm does.
She's placed more than 200 people with hearing impairment into employment, which is quite remarkable. We wanted to help her grow her business acumen because she'd never run a company before. So then Alex came onto the Tawana program and she was an amazing candidate.
I always say that Bridget is the midwife of Deaf Empowerment Firm. DF wouldn't be here today without the SAB Foundation. I was not an entrepreneur before. I was taught how to run a business, financial management skills, how to pitch my services to different clients. All the workshops that we attended in the Tawana Enterprise Development Program were such a big help.
Ketomena is one of the most overpopulated areas in Durban. Poverty lives here. All my life, I couldn't wait to get away from the rural areas. And when I got sick, I found myself without a job, without any income, and without food to put on the table. When you are undergoing a treatment, you need to eat something that's going to be nutritious. It meant organic. And I decided to grow my vegetables for myself. What I didn't know at the time was that the chickens from the neighbors were going to come and eat everything on site. You have to improvise, you have to be innovative. So with this system, before I knew it, I had a garden. All of a sudden, you've got so much vegetables that you cannot eat all of them. I never thought anything about business So now you start selling to the neighbors. More people come, and then one day somebody says, I'm working in a restaurant, we can perhaps take your spinach. And that becomes a business. I was approached by one of the chain stores to start supplying at least 12 of their shops. I was like, I've made it. How wrong I was. I realized that I could not meet what they were asking for. I had to work with the cooperatives so that we could collectively supply. It grew. Today, their cooperatives are 95. Sustainability goes hand in hand with income generation. SAB Foundation got to me when I really needed them. I was able to build the company and more. They offer the mentorship. It's more important than you can ever understand. When you've got this guidance, it helps you. If every single household could have this system, you can run out of vegetables. That's why my purpose in life is to stop hunger.
I saw how passionate these young people were. They had the spirit to conquer. And for me, they were a great inspiration.
From an early age, I played with Lego, the little bits that my mom could buy for me growing up in Soweto. So the idea for this wasn't even about a Sowetan boy. It was actually about every single African child from an underprivileged background. And with our idea around creating social innovators out of each and every one of these kids, we want them to be able to problem solve as well.
We've created 3,300 jobs so far. You've got this incredible potential for scale, replication, and to make a difference in the very long term.